We are back, everybody, in Motorsport Manager. Sorry, this episode's a little bit late this week. I'm going to be trying to get the race itself out on Sunday, so you will still get 2 episodes this week. Just been editing a few little bits and bobs. It's a new vlog out with me and Rage on our little trip to Scotland. There's a motorsport related theme to the second part of that next week. There's a little scoop. So I hope you watch that and you enjoy it. But anyway, let's get straight on into the nitty gritty before practice then in Belgium. A few things. Someone in the comments mentioned a real world mod which changes all the teams and the drivers to real Formula 1, GP2, GP3 teams and drivers and designers and sponsors. I was really impressed when I look at it actually. It's really in depth. And it's the one thing this game is missing. I'm going to have to see if that's possible to put it in Season 2 without mucking stuff up. It may mean, if it does work, we get given completely random drivers or new drivers, so we'll see about that. But let's get straight into it, shall we? One thing Foxworth mentioned to me, he's very keen for us to go for, perhaps biased, with his name being Foxworth, but Molly Fox, the American. I just wanted to see how good she actually was. We're still scouting her, but she seems pretty promising. We'll see what the scout report comes back and says on that, as to whether she is a potential driver for next year. But it depends if we're putting that real world mod on. We'll have to see. Okay, so Marchetta's car dropped 43% from the race, 28% for Dreyfus's. We need to improve our reliability. There is a slider, so I've been told, which we will have a look at very soon. Your attempts to pervert the wonderful purity of this great sport by breaking the rules of your gearbox have not been successful. Well, that's a bit harsh, isn't it? The part in question has been banned, and I believe the fine has already been issued. It has indeed, and we were docked 2 positions in the race, I think it was. I do hope this provides something of a lesson to you. I mean, I didn't do it intentionally, Ernie. I love that he's called Ernie. I wonder if he changes to Bernie in the real life mod. We'll have to see. Hard fought win, yeah, it's not really our concern at the moment, is it? Alright, let's take a look at the car then. We are currently improving parts, so I can't take a look at those sliders. We can design a new part though. Can I find out what the next race is? Okay. Top speed crucial, low speed coordinates crucial, acceleration is pretty useful. Maybe look for an engine upgrade then. Let's see if we can get a new engine, shall we? Top speed and reliability. Oh, it gets rid of reliability. But we do know how to improve the reliability quicker now. Top speed and reliability plus 40 to max top speed. Build time plus 2 days. I mean, we've got plenty of time till the next race. Top speed and reliability sounds good to me, so we'll build one of those. We could also, I suppose, build a very reliable engine in slot 1, which we could use. I think this is what we should be doing now, is having multiples of each part, getting the average and the good, because we can use the slots at the same time. It takes, see, 4 days. It's around about the same time period to build them, so we may as well do 2 in parallel, and then at least we've got a backup if we need it. So we shall build that part. It's going to be pretty expensive, unfortunately. We really need to start getting some big points finishes to really increase our bank balance. Would help a lot, but it's baby steps. You know, we were expected to finish mid-table. We're now in that 6th place in mid-table that we were expected to be. So anything from here is a bonus. So factory is definitely nothing we're going to be doing. They're all incredibly expensive, aren't they? Yeah. See, I can't see how you could upgrade any of this until you're in the higher categories. Anyway, new mail. Must respond interview. Go on then. Team testing weekend for Marchetta. I mean, it was our fault. Yeah, I made the right answer's actually there for a change. I take the blame. We made the errors with the strategy. I think the chairman would have liked that much, but what can you do? Dreyfus struggled, finishing down in 8th. I mean, to be honest, we had a very good race all round, so I don't want to criticise anyone. There's nothing to worry about. I'm sure Claudio will bounce back. Absolutely. Okay. I feel those interviews are just to increase the morale of your drivers and the chairman. There's no other real purpose for them, but don't really have too much problem with that. Sponsors, I was just going to check. We have a new open slot 1. Hopefully we'll be given a new sponsor for that. That's generally the sponsor that expects you to finish really... Actually no, Wonderluck is 2nd or above. We'll see what offers we get. We have of course increased our marketability recently, so we should be able to get some better high quality sponsors, I hope. As we tick on through, and the Belgian, it says Ardennes but it's the Belgian Grand Prix, ticks down. Where is the Ardennes Forest, I suppose, technically, around that area. Looking for a way out, not interested. Done my scouting mission for Pascal Becker. Pascal will be one of the European racing drivers' top drivers. On top of that, his potential is good, and I can see him improving in the years to come. His strength is his feedback, weakness of overtaking. And you see that be quite a useful driver. Feedback is something we don't have. Well, they're not too bad, our current drivers. But a young driver with good feedback will just improve and mean we can always get the setup spot on, hopefully. GM may have to vote on changes to the type of tyre used next season. The wide slick tyres which are going to be voted on are the fastest around. See, this is so on point, isn't it? That is what happens in 2017, wider tyres. Insiders are essentially expecting the vote to come down to money. The richer teams will want higher performance tyres to make the most of their cars, whereas the smaller teams will almost certainly want to save the money. It will cost £30,000 a race. That is pretty pricey. You don't have to pay for your own tyres, do you? Pretty sure that's not a thing. Here we go then. Molly Fox. Molly will be one of the very best drivers in the European Racing Series. She has a decent amount of potential, which should help us see improvement in her skills. Her greatest strength is her braking, issues with adaptability. Not an issue if we have a great car. We're still struggling a bit, isn't the best. But that's definitely... I'm definitely more game to getting her on board. We'll see. We'll scout a few more drivers and see towards the end of the season. Not interested. New vote. Okay. We have voting power of 2. 3 for, 1 against. We could abstain. Will benefit teams with high budgets. We don't have a high budget. So it wouldn't benefit us at all. Do I want to use a vote though? I feel like we should. I feel like we should vote against. We'll save our budget next season. 2 1 2 4 2 5 2 5 4 6 4 7 4. Bollocks. Completely and utterly waste. Did it use both my points? I didn't want to use both the I thought it was just going to use one. Oh wonderful. So we've now wasted both our votes. Oh well. It's worth a go, I guess. So we're going to be getting wider slick tyres. I guess it'll be good for the fans. I guess. Let's scout a few more drivers. Race. Laura Ingledew. Sure. Let's go with someone with a bit of a lower salary. 244. Nick Chu. I choose you. Oh no. Oh no. Didn't just say that, did I? Okay. Moving on. Swiftly from that abomination. Wow, million upfront payment. See, we're never good. Now we're doing pretty well in races. I don't think we're ever going to choose this team as our objective. This sponsor as our objective. 16th or above, that wouldn't exactly be very ambitious. But they're going to give us $1 million for 2 races. Yes, please. Lovely. Back into the green. Okay, let's continue on. Engine build is finished. Okay, let's go back onto here. Okay, so this is what I've been missing this whole time. There we go, 15 days. Oh dear. This is... I can't believe I've missed that. It's ridiculous. Okay, so performance, we're going to want these 2 engines, aren't we? Why can't I choose this engine? Oh, that's performance. Right. We're improving the reliability of 1 already. Let's improve the reliability of the other engine. We can cancel that performance because we've got 2 new engines now. Engine's going to be very important, so we're going to improve the performance of that. Our gearbox has been banned. That's a bit of an issue. That's a huge issue, not going to lie. We need a new gearbox, don't we? Can we get one done in time? Good. They're both risky, so we just go for acceleration. 5 days after race. We could switch it back, potentially, I suppose. We do have an empty component slot. We may as well build a backup one then, I suppose. A very reliable one will be good. Does that actually increase the cost by 50,000? That's pretty cheap. We'll get one. Excuse me? Oh, we've got 3 slots now. Oh, so we can now build a great gearbox. Oh, reliability plus 15. These are still locks though. Okay, so that will improve our good components. We may as well add that to it. Hasn't added anything to cost. It's a designer component. Is it? Oh, add no time or cost. Okay, okay. Back into the red we go. Not much we can do about that. Well, let's work on this slider then. We do want to increase performance, but we really want that reliability of those engines, I think. It's not much, not many parts. Actually, our suspension's pretty low. What if we go all the way that way? 21 days after race. Okay. If we go all the other way, 7 days up. So whatever we do, it's going to be after the race, so we may as well leave it 50-50. Onwards we go. Mail. TV piece. One of our directors here at Channel 6 would absolutely love to film a TV piece in your factory. I understand that this would be an imposition, but we'll make a compensatory payment. Naturally. I mean, £100,000, that's not really enough to piss off both mechanics. Nope, too annoying. Sorry, come back with more money. Why has it stopped? No idea. Oh, we had a new sponsor, didn't we? Oh, we've already picked that. I'm losing my mind today. Cape Town and Vancouver of F1 and GP2. No, of no real interest to us. Nothing to report. 3 days to the race. Nothing's going to be happening before. So let's get straight on to practice. Okay, where do we think we can finish? I think second or above is a huge ask. It's going to be unbelievably wet by the look of it. There has been a massive update. Well, I say massive. There's been a big update to this game. They've also added a 2D mode, so anybody that struggles with their specifications running this game, because it is surprisingly demanding for a management game. The graphics look pretty good, and there's obviously a lot going on in the background processor-wise. So they've added a 2D mode, which is the same as you get on the mobile game, to make it run a lot smoother. But they have made quite a lot of changes to, I think, like blue flags and AI strategies, and there were quite a lot of cars running out of fuel and breaking down at the end of the race, which I have seen. I've got a feeling Dreyfus's incredible 5th position, she passed a lot of cars on the last lap. I think they were all running out of fuel or breaking down. So we won't get that benefit anymore if it's been fixed as they say it has. But I think we'll go Wan Chi again. 9th or above. Right. Dreyfus is missing a gearbox. That she's unsure. Yeah, I'd be a little unsure. You haven't got to be too mechanically minded to realise that if you're missing a gearbox, you might struggle in a motor race. Right, let's have a look then, shall we? So brakes, we've only got 2 really. Dreyfus is going to get the better parts again because she's higher in the championship. She's been driving better, although Marchetta did very well last time out. Engine, right. Okay, so these reliabilities have been improved quite a lot. Performance is pretty level between those two. We'll give... You know what? Let's give Marchetta the benefit of the doubt, shall we? We'll give him the best engine. That's the most crucial part for this weekend. He's going to have a slightly better engine. Let's see him go out and give it his best shot. We're also going to give him the only good gearbox we've got, because the other one's been banned. So we'll give Dreyfus the slightly better of the 2 original gearboxes. That's a bit of a shame. I didn't think about that earlier. Obviously we told it had been banned, but I built engines instead, which could let us down, but we'll see. And suspension. Rules risk. There is a small risk on that suspension, but the alternative would be putting original on. We're going to give Marchetta everything. Should we give him the better brakes? She's incredibly unhappy. Content happy. Okay, we'll keep the brakes the other way around. Dreyfus wouldn't be too happy if she got the best of every world. So we're giving Marchetta the better car. Let's see what he can do, shall we? Okay, we are all ready for practice. Okay, here we are in practice then. We shall assign the drivers as such. Setup, so this track is kind of modelled on Spa, so we've got a lot of long straights, so top speed is going to be incredibly important. So that's what we're going to be hankering towards. We want to do it with a mixture of wings and gear ratios, I would imagine. Still going to want some kind of acceleration. Handling, we want to... We want handling... Let's go somewhere towards oversteer. Downforce, apparently... Oh, this is going to be hard to balance, isn't it? Maybe we do need massive gear ratios. Let's try that. Then we want a lot of downforce and top speed. This is going to be difficult to balance. Let's try that. That's on a lot of maximums right there, but we'll try it. Can you save the setup? No, so we've got to do it all again for Dreyfus. That's a shame. We'll send him out on the soft tyres, sure. Okay, Dreyfus. It's the same kind of thing. High wing angle. Then we use the gear ratios to get the speed balance. It's going arc right there. Anyway, speed balance back. Handling. Her engineer's saying understeer for her. Maybe that's just her driving style. And actually low downforce, which I didn't notice. Okay, let's try that. We don't really know till they get out there, and we'll put her on the super soft tyres. We are ready. Take practice. We had such a good setup last time, and I think it did well because it's the first time we got both cars in the top 10. We seem to have good race pace. So let's send the cars out. Forgot to put my phone on silent. Lovely. Answer that later. Yeah, it'll be interesting. It's apparently another incredibly wet weekend, and it looks like this practice session is going to be wet at some point as well. So this might be the only dry weather we get all weekend, which doesn't really make it very relevant. We're going to bring both cars straight back in, so we get an idea of their setup straight away. I am really going to enjoy this as if the practice sessions get a lot longer when we get higher up the categories. I do want to do maybe just sort of a single let's play of the old Grand Prix Manager games or Grand Prix World, just to show you the differences, because I adored that game. It was so perfect. If you could make that game again, official cars and drivers, official sponsors, and just with this graphics and this sort of back end work on it, it would be amazing. But you know, they're making some really good updates. Hang on, let's we need to set up, yeah. Okay, let's see what he thinks of it, and then we'll go back to that story. I say, okay, good on speed balance and downforce, very poor on the handling. So we want to change it a little bit, but not much. Yeah, that's not really doing much for the handling, is it? Let's go back to the original. So maybe we can use the handling. Tire pressures, can we get the top speed back? No. Phone's going off ridiculously often at the moment. Okay, let's try a bit more top speed. It's not too far from the downforce. That's dreadful in the handling though. Let's try it. We're going to need the intermediate tyres. Let's just see what it does, shall we? It's trial and error at this stage, isn't it? Dreyfus, let's see what Sheik thought, shall we? Poor, good, poor. Okay. Not the best start, especially when we only got 12 minutes. Okay, let's bring the speed balance back a little bit. Let's maybe give her a bit more downforce. And handling's pretty good. Let's go a little bit more oversteer. And again, put her on the intermediates. Okay, let's see what they think of that. Yeah, they're updating this game pretty regularly. I think they can maybe solve some of the issues. I don't know that they can solve my huge gripe with the parts system, the way it works. Again, that would be one thing I'd love to show you on Grand Prix World, as to how that works. But yeah, they're making improvements all the time, and that real world mod at least gives you the official cars and drivers and sponsors, which brings that little bit of realism. Obviously it's not as good as if it was polished official game from the beginning, but I'm just really happy that we've got a really well thought out, dedicated Motorsport Manager game. Which, I keep saying Motorsport Manager game, it's not as if this is a series that's been before apart from on mobile. I just mean, what else would you class? It does what it says on the tin, doesn't it? That is the genre. It's a motorsport management game. Okay, they're on their out laps. On the intermediate tyres, I forgot to tell them to come back in. Good job, it's a ridiculously long lap round here, isn't it? Really long lap. Fastest lap, 2 minute 15. Strategy is going to be key round here then. If it's wet the whole race, that will be fairly simple. But if it's going between wet and dry and intermediates, downforce has got worse. Wonderful. It's going between intermediates and wets and dries. You're going to have to get the strategy calls right, because you can't afford to stay out when the lap is this long. Okay, let's see what we say. About halfway through practice. Excellent, good, very poor, good, great, okay. Okay, so now we can probably use the overlaps to find out what we're doing wrong on the downforce. What did they say first time on the downforce? So it's more that way, so sort of in between. We want the downforce sort of in between there. But we need to get that top speed back to there. It's about right. Just try and change the handling a little. No, I'm kind of happy with good. A tiny little change will be good enough for me. Intermediates, that's fine. Okay, Dreyfus, you can go back out. Marchetta, what do you think? Okay, great, good. What did they say first time? Good, very poor, good. Okay, so we want downforce a little bit more. A little bit more downforce. Let's go that way and then we can bring top speed back. I want to bring the handling. It's going to be difficult to balance. We're going to have to change. I want to keep that handling good because it's great. Okay, let's try that. Out he goes. Track is soaked. There's still people going round on dry tyres. It's getting drier though. We'll send them back out into me. This doesn't make the world of difference. Oh, it's dried out really quickly. Green cars. We should be able to make at least one more setup change. Preferably two. Oh, it's getting a bit hectic into that hairpin. Preferably we'd make two, but I don't think we'll have time. It's a really long lap, which is the issue. Well, technically we'll be able to make two, because we'll be able to come back in, make the changes, send them back out, and then we'll get that feedback just before the race. It's going to be a sort of a lower half of the top 10 to 10th, I think, for Dreyfus will be our starting positions because of the reverse grid. So we stand a good chance again. I was going to say the higher up the grid, the harder it will get, obviously, to make your way back through. Aero setup is way better. Good. Marchetta seems pretty happy. Okay, let's go to Marchetta first. 91 this time. We balanced pretty well. Let's make some tiny changes, shall we? What do we think? A little bit more top speed. A little bit more. Just make a couple of random changes and see if it goes in the right direction. We can always revert back to that 91. Use super soft tyres because we haven't used them yet. At least get a little bit of knowledge. And Dreyfus. 84. Setup's still a long way off. Have we got that? Very poor. We haven't really got better than poor yet. That's what we need to change. Downforce, let's go quite a way that way then. Try and get speed balance back to normal. Handling, a slight change. And we'll send her out. On the super softs. Okay. So this is it then, the last throw of the dice to see if we can make some improvements. We're definitely not as on ball as on a ball as on the ball as in Portugal. The 90s is still pretty good. Hopefully we can get Dreyfus to set up into there. Obviously it does make a big difference. In terms of how big a difference the setup makes in comparison to your car parts, I don't know. I've got to imagine to be the best car out there, you've got to get the best balance of both setup and car performance. You would expect under normal circumstances, I don't know if it translates into this game, you would expect that the better your car is in performance, the easier it is to set up, but I don't know if it goes into that kind of depth. You know what, we may as well leave him out to do a timed run. Overtake, attack. Overtake, attack. See if we can get some laps on the board and just see where we are. We wouldn't get the cars back out, so do a flying lap and see where they stack up. If they don't hit traffic, that is. Oh, look at that. Beautiful clear. Oh, Dreyfus, I think, has hit traffic. Yeah, she has. Okay, Marchetta will be the best sort of barometer as to where we are. He's obviously got the better car. He's actually half a second up on the quickest car out there. But of course the track has only just dried out. They only had a couple of laps at the beginning before it started raining, so we would expect him to be right up there. I wonder if this wears the car practice. I'm not sure. Should do. Never really looked into it. Okay, Marchetta's lost a bit of time. Dreyfus is a long way down after that traffic. Here comes Marchetta down the pit straight then. Will he go quickest? It's fourth. Lost a lot of time in the final sector then. But we seem to have some half decent pace at least. Handling feels awesome. Handling is feeling superb. Okay. Early whispers suggest we have improved Dreyfus's setup, but we'll find out before the race. But that is going to be that. Pretty good practice session. It's definitely going to be a very interesting race. Very long lap. It's going to be incredibly wet. Surprise, surprise. I think every single race almost has been wet at some point so far, apart from the first one. Marchetta, that's strange. He was half a second up. First, it's not Berchamp on pole anymore. So Berchamp's actually 1.6 seconds down the road. Still lost an awful lot of time in the final sector, but I'm pretty happy. Hopefully Dreyfus' setup has improved and we can have a good race from here. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. As I say, sorry it was a little bit late this week. There will be another episode on Sunday to make up for that, and then we'll be back to the normal Tuesday and Saturday schedule for this series next week. Leave your predictions down below as to how you think the race is going to go. Any advice also for after the race as to what we can do to the car, maybe potential drivers, any tips or tricks that I'm missing. I seem to miss something as pointed out to me every single episode. So I'd love to hear from you. Hit that like button if you did enjoy. It lets me know you're continuing to enjoy the series and inspires me to continue recording these. And if you're new to the channel and like what you see, first off, go back and start the series again if you haven't seen it already. And also hit that subscribe button to keep up to date when everything is out. And also check out some other content on the channel. So as always, thank you so much for watching. And I'll see you again in a couple of days for race.
These battles have often been contained on single racetracks. Now, it's going global. The chosen chariot for this is the Red Bull 2016. Brilliant in the bends, but often hampered by its Renault engine. Lacking power on the...
Sorry? What do you mean? They make watches. Oh, okay.
Can they make up for the deficit on the streets with their Tag Heuer engine?
Sauber, a team that often I get confused as to whether they have overachieved or underachieved. A team of humble beginnings, founded by Peter Sauber in the 1970s. He would eventually work his way up the ladder to win back-to-back Le Mans races in 1988 and 1999 with the incredible Sauber Mercedes C9, a car that was relatively unchanged between the 2 years, such was its dominance. It was then that Peter Sauber decided to take a foray into Formula 1.